We should initially see what is implied by venomous. That something is venomous when it infuses you with the toxin, and something is toxic when it hurts you through touch or eating. There are about 1,000 types of snakes on the planet. On the rundown, you can see the deadliest 10 species. In cases beginning with number 10. Number 10, suitably named death adder, is found in Australia and New Guinea. This venomous snake really chase and murder different snakes, remembering some for this rundown, generally by means of snare. Passing adders look very like snakes, in that they have three-sided formed heads and short, squat bodies. They normally infuse around 40 to 100 milligrams of toxin with a LD of 0.4 mg 0.5 mg kg. An untreated death adder nibble is perhaps the most hazardous on the planet. The toxin is a neurotoxin. A nibble causes loss of motion and can cause demise inside 6 hours, because of respiratory disappointment. Manifestations by enlarged top inside 24 to 48 hours. Counteragent is effective in treating a nibble from a death adder, especially because of the moderate movement of indications, however, before its turn of events. A death adder chomp had a casualty pace of half. With the fastest strike on the planet, a death adder can go from strike position to striking and back again inside 0.13 of a second. Vipers are found all through the majority of the world, yet apparently the most venomous is the saw-scaled viper and the chain viper, found essentially in the Middle East and Central Asia. Especially India, China, and Southeast Asia. Vipers are irritable and for the most part nighttime, frequently dynamic after downpours. They are additionally exceptionally quick. A large portion of these species have toxin that cause side effects that start with torment at the site of the chomp, promptly followed by expanding of the influenced furthest point. Draining is a typical side effect, particularly from the gums. There is a drop in pulse and the pulse falls. Rankling happens at the site of the chomp, creating along the influenced appendage in extreme cases. Rot is normally shallow and restricted to the muscles close to the nibble, yet might be serious in extraordinary cases. Heaving and facial expanding happens in around 33%, all things considered. Serious torment may keep going for 2 a month. Frequently, nearby growing tops inside 48 to 72 hours, including the influenced appendage. Staining may happen all through the swollen territory as red platelets and plasma spill into muscle tissue. Passing from septicemia, respiratory or cardiovascular disappointment may happen 1 to 14 days post-chomp, or considerably later. Most types of cobra would not make this rundown, anyway the Philippine cobra is the special case. Drop for drop, its toxin is the most lethal of all the cobra species, and they are fit for throwing it up to 3 meters. The toxin is a neurotoxin which influences heart and respiratory capacity, and can cause neurotoxicity, respiratory loss of motion and passing in a short time. The nibble causes just insignificant tissue harm. The neurotoxins intrude on the transmission of nerve signals biofascial to the neurostrong intersections close to the muscles. The manifestations may incorporate migraine, sickness, retching, stomach torment, loose bowels, tipsiness, breakdown and seizures. Found in Australia, the venomous tiger snake has a strong neurotoxic toxin. Demise from a nibble can happen inside 30 minutes, yet generally requires 6 to 24 hours. Before the advancement of counteragent, the casualty rate from tiger snakes was 60 to 70%. Indications can remember restricted agony for the foot and neck locale, shivering, deadness and perspiring, trailed by a genuinely quick beginning of breathing challenges and loss of motion. The tiger snake will for the most part escape whenever experienced, yet can get forceful when cornered. It hits with unerring precision. The dreaded black mamba is found all through numerous pieces of the African mainland. They are known to be exceptionally forceful, and hit with destructive exactness. They are likewise the quickest land snake on the planet, fit for arriving at velocities of up to 20 km/h. These fearsome snakes can strike up to multiple times in succession. A solitary nibble is fit for slaughtering somewhere in the range of 10 to 25 grown-ups. The toxin is an effective neurotoxin. By and large, notwithstanding, it can convey up to 400 milligrams. In the event that the toxin arrives at a vein, 0.25 milligrams kg is adequate to murder a human in half of cases. The underlying side effect of the nibble is nearby torment in the chomp zone, albeit not as serious as snakes with hemotoxins. The casualty at that point encounters a shivering sensation in the mouth and limits, twofold vision, exclusive focus, extreme disarray, fever, unreasonable salivation, counting frothing of the mouth and nose, and articulated ataxia, absence of muscle control. In the event that the casualty doesn't get clinical consideration, manifestations quickly progress to serious stomach torment, sickness and regurgitating, whiteness, stun, nephrotoxicity, cardiopoisonousness and loss of motion. In the end, the casualty encounters seizures, respiratory capture, trance-like state and afterward demise. Without antibody, the death rate is almost 100%, among the most elevated of every venomous snake. Contingent upon the idea of the chomp, passing can result whenever between 15 minutes and 3 hours. Another section from Australia, the toxin in a taipan is sufficiently able to slaughter up to 12,000 guinea pigs. The toxin coagulates the casualty's blood, hindering conduits, or veins. It is additionally exceptionally neurotoxic. Prior to the approach of an antibody, there are no known overcomers of a taipan nibble, and passing ordinarily happens inside 60 minutes. Indeed, even with effective organization of neutralizer, most casualties will have abroad remain in escalated care. It has been compared to the African black mamba in morphology, environment, and conduct. The blue krait is, by a wide margin, the most dangerous of this species. Found all through Southeast Asia and Indonesia, half of nibbles from the lethal blue krait are deadly, even with the organization of antibody. Kraits chase and execute different snakes, in any event, tearing apart different kraits. They are a nighttime breed, and are more forceful under the front of dimness. Notwithstanding, generally they are very meek and will regularly endeavor to stow away as opposed to battle. The toxin is a neurotoxin, multiple times more strong than that of a cobra. It rapidly prompts muscle loss of motion by forestalling the capacity of sensitive spots to appropriately deliver the compound that sends the message to the following nerve. This is trailed by a time of gigantic overexcitation, cramps, quakes, fits, which at last tails off to loss of motion. Luckily, chomps from kraits are uncommon because of their nighttime nature. Prior to the improvement of antibody, the casualty rate was an incredible 85%. Regardless of whether counteragent is controlled as expected, you are a long way from guaranteed endurance. Passing for the most part happens inside 6 to 12 hours of a krait chomp. Regardless of whether patients make it to a clinic, perpetual unconsciousness and even mind passing from hypoxia may happen, given possibly long vehicle times to get clinical consideration. Don't let the innocuous name of the snake fool you. 1/14,000 of an ounce of its venom is enough to kill an adult human. Coming in a variety of species, the eastern brown snake is the most venomous. Unfortunately, its preferred habitat is also along the major population centers of Australia. The brown snake is fast-moving, can be aggressive under certain circumstances and has been known to chase aggressors and repeatedly strike at them. Even juveniles can kill a human. The venom contains both neurotoxins and blood coagulants. Fortunately for humans, Less than half of bites contain venom and they prefer not to bite if at all possible. They react only to movement, so stand very still if you ever encounter one in the wild. While I said that I would exclude different subspecies in this rundown, the unimaginable inland taipan merits a spot. It has the most harmful toxin of any land snake on the planet. The greatest yield recorded for one chomp is 110 milligrams, enough to execute around 100 people, or 250,000 mice. With a LD/50 of 0.03 milligrams kg, it is multiple times as venomous as the Mojave rattlesnake, and multiple times more than the basic cobra. Luckily, the inland taipan isn't especially forceful and is once in a while experienced by people in nature. No fatalities have ever been recorded, however it might kill a grown-up human inside 40. The most venomous snake known on the planet, Belcher Sea Snake, a couple of milligrams is sufficiently able to execute 1,000 individuals. Under 1/4 of chomps will contain toxin, and they are generally meek. Angler are typically the casualties of these nibbles, as they experience the species when they pull nets from the sea. Found all through waters off Southeast Asia and Northern Australia. Please subscribe.